I've always been known as that party starter, the turn-up king. And I ain't gonna lie, your boy, I'm a whole vibe out here. And because of that, I've been able to create connections and maintain friendships with some dope people. The barbershop has always been a place where entertaining and educational dialogue takes place. I've been a part of some epic conversations and some full-blown arguments in the shop. So I figured, why not bring some of those conversations to life? So in the words of the legendary Snoop, give me the microphone first, because this is nothing but a thang. How you want to cut or you want to line up, bro?
I'll cut, bro, because I've been looking rough.
Got you. Ball fade?
Yeah, you can keep the top, but yeah, side.
Yeah, I ain't gonna touch the top. How high do you want? You want it high?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I had a cut in a month. I didn't realize that's what I pulled up.
Part of the reason you pulled up, because then you need a cut.
This is true.
Yeah. A long time coming, bro, for us to actually do this, man. I appreciate you. I know you always pull up on me on anything that I got going on, and you know I appreciate that, bro. We've had this. Basically, we've been family since then. You know, since we pretty much met. I appreciate you for always supporting, dog.
For sure.
But man, just what you got going on right now, man? How it all started for you, bro?
Man.
Nolan Carroll, because you grew up like our bond came because of football, but you grew up a soccer player.
I was completely in a different life. It wasn't until y'all started making fun of me for playing soccer.
Right.
I was playing soccer since I was 6. And I was on the other end of the spectrum. I ain't really always been the oddball, I guess, because I always liked different things, but y'all would always, I was like, why you playing soccer? Why you playing soccer?
Weirdo. But if we don't, like now, it's crazy how the tables turn, because now, like, bro, you need to be playing soccer.
Yeah.
You need to be playing soccer.
I know, right?
It's crazy how that works.
I know, but I always just been like that. But y'all, I met you because I was just like, man, these are my homeboys, but y'all ain't playing soccer. There's no way.
You was playing soccer with us.
None of us. None of y'all. Y'all would always make fun of me, man. But I didn't play football really until high school.
Right.
And that's when I met you. Well, I knew you guys. I seen you guys in elementary school, but you were always a grade ahead of me. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until we actually started playing football where I got to know you and Cliff, Celiac, all the guys shoot. Hunter Hill.
Right. I mean, Poe, Freezy.
Everybody shoot. Curtis, Terrence, Tommy. Like all of us. I mean, I always still talk about it.
Right.
That team from 03.
Man, we had that stick. I argue with all my buddies all the time. We will beat anybody. Our senior year, or my senior year, your junior year,
yes,
we would have beat anybody. Whoever wanted could have gotten it. Like, that team was so underrated, man.
We should have went to state.
But so you was recruited, bro, in high school because you was so damn fast, bro. This man was so fast.
I'm still
bro.
fast, bro.
And I remember. Like, you had broke your leg in high school, I think. When was the first time you broke your leg, or was that in college?
Second game of high school.
You broke your leg in high school, and I remember a story you was telling me how you were running a 40, and they thought that you had on, like, track spikes when you
Okay. So I had, this was my senior year, going into my senior year in Maryland, and I had been working out all off season. I seen scouts were coming to see juniors before they were seniors,
right?
2 years before, and I always kept telling myself, going into my senior year, I'm gonna make sure that I at least run a 4.3, and them guys at least know who I am. Mm-hmm. So I remember working out during the off season, like right after the season. In January, I came home, and I worked out for a month straight by myself, just working on my 40 times, my starts, all that stuff.
Right.
And then coming out, I had on flat shoes and we were on the turf. And I remember just running. I'm like, this is it right here. So I just remember just running. And right after I ran, one of the scouts came up to me and asked me, hey, let me see your shoes. So I lifted up my shoes. I'm wondering, why you want to see my shoes? They're like, lift up your other shoes. So I show them both my shoes. I see all the scouts around my shoes. Like they said, take them off. They looking at them. And I walk off. I'm like, shit.
What's going on?
I ran, yeah. So my coach told me, he's like, man, you just ran a 4.25. I was like, oh. Word? He's like, yeah, the highest they had you at was a 4.29. I said, dang.
You ran a 4.25.
I ran a 4.25, but the highest time somebody had me at was a 4.29. So
right.
I ran under a 4.3.
Right.
So I'm like, oh, snap. And that's kind of what put me on the map as far as like
And this is your junior year
This was after my junior year, going to my senior year.
of high school.
College. Of college.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And
I had a decent junior year. So going into my senior year, people started to understand, oh, there's more than one corner that's good in the ACC. You know, those guys in Clemson, and then
who all came out? Or who was it that whenever you were coming out?
Joe Hayden, Kareem Jackson, me, Javier Arenas, Cam Chancellor.
I forgot
Carroll
about
Thomas.
Javier Arenas.
Yeah. Those are the guys, like the notable guys from Eric Berry, another one.
Yep.
From that draft class. And that's really how it started, man. People just started seeing I was fast, and that's really what got me drafted. You know?
Right, because you played, because you went to college as a receiver, right? Or did they recruit you as a DB also?
I went as a receiver because, you know, all I ran was slants and
Slants,
deep
the
balls.
go route.
That's it.
That's it.
If y'all ever needed a big play, you just
throw that thing to
throw it up.
four.
That was it.
He gonna run up underneath that
That was
thing.
it. And that's what got me noticed. And then, after that, I wasn't playing that much on offense at Maryland. So we had 5 guys that were new, freshmen that came in with my class. So it was hard for me to really grasp the offense, one, and then I was a different type of player. I was a reverse guy, you know.
Right.
I was a one-hitter type guy. I didn't know how the offense got run. And then, I was just like, let me use my size to my advantage, because I was a small receiver in some people's eyes, but I was a big corner. So I said, let me go ahead and go on the corner side and utilize my assets, what I know.
So the coaches that make you make that transition, you got to make that transition yourself?
I made it myself. I mean, people advised against it, but the one person that didn't, it was Coach Riddle.
Yeah.
Coach Riddle was the one person that said that I should do that. You know, my mom, she didn't want me to do it because she thought I'd lose my scholarship. My coaches, they were telling me no because they said I'd play on offense, but I'm like, look, man, I've been here for 2 years. Y'all ain't let me play on offense yet, so.
You're getting no burn.
Yeah, so don't lie to me.
Right.
Let me just go ahead and be on the other side and take a gamble that way, and if it don't work out, I just transfer.
If you would have transferred, where would you have gone?
I probably came back to Florida, probably UCF.
So what all offers did you have coming out of high school?
Man, I had Ole Miss, I had Florida, I had Illinois, Colorado.
Bethune, right?
Bethune-Cookman?
Yeah, you didn't have Bethune?
I was automatic. You know, small schools are always automatic
Right.
for me. UCF, USF, Maryland, UConn. I had Ohio. I mean, I had, can't remember who else I had. I had a lot of schools.
Yeah, you had a lot of them, huh?
I think I was up to almost 30 at one point.
Jeez.
I've been going to camps, though. That was the thing. I was going to a lot of camps by myself.
Is that what put you on?
Yeah, I had to. Nobody was going to come to Clay High School, you know?
Right.
So we had to step out of there. I had to go to Georgia to Nike camps. I had to go to camps all over Florida. I had to, man, it was really just, I had to get myself out there because, you know, we come from a small town.
Right.
Unless we really balling like that to where film is, it's not like how it is today.
Right, it's totally different now, man.
You had to make VHS tapes and put it out there yourself and put it on Rivals. So
now my nephew was showing me like his joint on Huddy.
What's that?
It's what the kids are using now, like with all the highlights and stuff.
And they just uploaded themselves?
They just uploaded themselves, bro. It's like an app and all of that.
The times have changed.
The times have changed. I remember going to Coach Reek's room and trying to make my own highlight tape.
Man.
You know, digging through all the game film.
Trust me, I know it.
You know? So you go off to Maryland, bro. And then how long did you play at Maryland?
I was there for 5 years. I redshirted my first year, and then played for 4 years, and broke my leg again my senior year.
How'd you break it your second time? Was it playing?
It was playing. It was in a game. Crazy coincidentally. Second game of the season, just like in high school. Second game of the season, playing James Madison. It was like 3rd and 3, and I just called my own play. I told my safety it was a choice, and I got a chance to blitz. So I told him I'm blitzing, you cover me deep. So I made sure I went in.
Was it the right call for you?
It was the right call for me at the time. And we stopped him, as a matter of fact. We stopped him, but my defensive end was coming around the corner, and as I was twisting around trying to get the guy on the ground, he kicked my leg. And when he kicked my leg, I just remember, I just felt everything go numb. And that's when I knew. I was like, shit, I did it again.
Was it the same leg?
Same leg.
Same leg both times.
Same leg both times, man.
And then after you broke your leg, like it just got stronger?
Yeah,
like, I had
emergency surgery that night.
Really?
I had to, yeah.
Was it a compound break?
No, it was just a clean break, but it was. They said, look, I told them I'm just getting surgery. I'm not going through the same route I went through last time, was a cast, just a natural heal. I told them let's just go ahead and do it. So they drove me down into DC, got my surgery at like 12 o'clock at night, and shoot, man, that's when the rehab process started. But I was once again preaching All-American. I was on the Thorpe list. Like I had all these things going for me. And shoot, that happened again. I was just like, dang. But I'd been through it once before, so.
So it wasn't that, it didn't really like bum you all out?
Nah, not really at all. Because I knew I could come back from it. It wasn't like it was an ACL or something.
Right.
But it was everybody else that didn't think I could come back from it. And the same thing happened when I was in high school.
Everybody else has them.
Like coaches, certain players, scouts.
Right.
Like I could, I just hear chatter. You would just hear things from other people. They talking. And everybody wanted me to stay for a medical redshirt year, but at that point in time, I gave so much to Maryland, I couldn't come back for another year and play again. I just didn't want to. I couldn't go through it again, basically. And my mind was already ready to go to the league. Like that was what my mindset was. But everybody kept saying, "Oh, you might not get drafted. You might be a free agent. You might mess up. You should just come back and play it safe." And for me, I didn't want to do that. And one of the other people that kind of helped me was in my corner with my strength conditioning coach. He kept telling me what scouts were saying, what scouts wanted to see for me at the combine. I already knew I was going to the combine back in September, so I had no problems making that decision. And he just told me, just believe in yourself, work on the rehab, just continue to get stronger, don't worry about what people are saying, just focus on what's best for you. And that's what I ultimately did. I told him I'm not coming back for my medical redshirt year, and I'm just going to go to the league, and she ended up working out for me because they projected me as a second-round pick coming into the season. And they said if I played well, I'd be a first-round pick easy.
Okay.
And I ended up getting drafted. I was a fifth-round pick. So a guy had no playing year, basically his last year, you think he wouldn't even get drafted. And I ended up, Miami took a chance on me, and the rest is history.
So you get drafted by the Dolphins, fifth round. I remember too, I was at a bar or something, probably drinking, whatever. But I saw your name come across the bottom of the ticker. And I think I was with Cliff. I'm like, hey, bro, Nolan just got drafted to the Dolphins. He's like, oh, word? And so how was it, bro, playing in Miami, bro? Like, that party city, how was it, like, your rookie year playing in Miami?
You know me, man.
Yeah. Quiet, chill.
Exactly. So it wasn't crazy temptation. It wasn't like, I got to show out. Like I didn't go out until Halloween weekend. And the season.
Now is this your rookie year?
This is my rookie year. That was the first time I ever spent money on a table, and I was scared. Because it was three of us, three other rookies, and we said we'll split the table. And I'm thinking, man, this table about to be expensive.
Right.
And they said, oh, it's $1,300. I'm like, man, that's a lot. But shoot, compared to my signing bonus and what I was making that year, I was thinking, damn, I'm gonna go broke just in this one night.
Right.
Thinking $1,300 will kill me. Well, now just from that one night, I'm thinking, damn, $1,300 gonna hurt my bank account. I remember signing the check and doing everything. The next morning, checking my account like frantically. I was like, oh, I'm good. And mind you, I've been shopping at Sears, I've been shopping at Macy's for my clothes and stuff, Target for shirts. I wasn't buying fancy things like that, man. So I was always real frugal about saving my money because I always got scared of going broke and stuff. So for me, the temptation wasn't something that I was dependent upon. But there were other guys, man, they were going out every single night. Like, I don't know how they could function. We had one guy, he was starting over me, and the coach gave me the responsibility. I had to text him every morning to make sure he was at the facility because he either show up drunk or he'd stay asleep in the club and somebody else Uber wasn't there at the time, so somebody had to taxi him to the facility.
But your responsibility.
They made it my responsibility. Like I had to text him, I had to make sure he was good, just being a good teammate. But it got so bad that he got into a fight with one of our teammates because he showed up to the walkthrough drunk and he was hungover. And then they ended up, it's crazy, like the day before the game, they ended up making me the start. This is the first time I ever got my start in the NFL. It was because he was so hungover and he got into a fight. Coach was like, oh, we're tired of this. Yeah, I mean, that's the lifestyle of it. And you have a choice, man. Either you want to entertain that or you want to be responsible and put that to the side for 5 months.
Right.
You know, we can do that in the off season. You know, you don't have to do it
Now,
every night and try and be the man every single night in the club. You know, because that don't really amount to nothing. You don't get no trophies for that. You know. You don't get no accolades for being the best bottle popper in the club. You know,
and that's what Miami they try to do. It's crazy, bro.
it is,
Like,
man.
who can spend the most amount of money tonight? Dog, these
get it.
club promoters, they got it. They're smart, bro.
Yep.
You know, they have all these bottle wars in Miami. They're smart.
They are. They know how to market, but man, it's just at the end of the day when you really look back, it's like, for what? Like,
Yeah,
why are you doing it? Like, why'd you spend? I seen some guys spend $60,000 in the club at one time. Like it's nothing. I'm just like, you could have done so much more with that money.
I was with a guy in there one night. It was $100,000 night, bro. And it was $100,000.
You remember one night we were there? Me, you, and my sister.
I remember.
My goodness. And that wasn't even supposed to happen.
Was that like my birthday or something?
It was your birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, appreciate it. I still got the bottles of Ciroc.
You do?
I still got those bottles of Ciroc.
But you saw how that night turned out, and you're just like, man, if you were to do this every night, you wouldn't last.
Absolutely. There's no way.
Not at all.
So you've seen a lot of players like just not make it because of that Miami lifestyle.
Because of that, and they're the ones that turn around and ask me for money.
Now, did that make you want to get out of Miami?
A little bit. I mean, I still like it because of the area, but just from the standpoint of it's the same people over and over. And I bet it's the same in every city, but after a while, you go out, you're seeing the same things, you're seeing the same influences, which aren't the best influences. You know, if you want to go out every night and party like that, you're going to get drunk and fall into the wrong trap. If you want to go out every once in a while, it's cool to do that, but you just got to be smart with it. And for me, just being a little bit older, I've been down there for almost a decade now, so I've seen everything. I've seen the same people going out from 2010 to 2020. It's like, man, y'all are consistent. And it's just crazy how they can do that, but for me, my mindset is just on other things now. It's more on building, it's more on developing, it's more on helping other people, so can't really do that in Miami because everybody's just for themselves all the time.
Right. Now, while you were playing for the Dolphins, one of the craziest things ever happened. The trip.
Yep.
Like, take me through that. Do you remember all of that and how that happened, bro?
I do. And nobody believed me at first. None of my coaches believed me nothing.
What happened exactly?
First of all, I had my first pick. I need to put that out there. My first career pick I had.
It was in that game.
It was in that game, right before that even happened.
Right.
And
but that got overshadowed.
That definitely got overshadowed. But I was a gunner, and I remember running. I remember seeing this wall. I was like, oh, I'm gonna clear it. I'm gonna be fine once they push me out of bounds, I come back in. But I felt somebody's knee come out of that whole line and trip me. And I remember being on the ground and my quad and my knee is like messed up. I thought I tore something, honestly. The trainers come over, and I said to them, yo, I got tripped. And you know, back in the day, that's what they used to do. They used to have those guys line up there to get in your way to mess
Really?
up. But nobody would go as far as to like hurt somebody.
Actually doing
they'd be in the way where you ran into them, but never to trip somebody. And they took a TV timeout. I'm still on the ground. I'm about to get up, and they still don't believe me. They're just like, you know, get up, get up, get up. But they showed it on the jumbotron in MetLife Stadium. My coach, Coach Barano, oh my man, he almost ran over to the other sideline.
Whenever they showed the replay?
Yeah. My special teams coach, the same way. Trainers, everybody's like, man, that's messed up. And then eventually, you know, that whole thing you saw how it happened.
Right, but nothing happened like during the game. Like did the refs didn't catch it or?
Nah, because it happened after, so you can't throw a penalty after. So it was just the stuff that happened after. But he apologized. You know, it was one of those things. I guess he wasn't thinking, or he was thinking, but people said he's kind of got a reputation for being nasty. But I would say this: P. Diddy did get him back for me.
Yeah, what happened?
He was at UCLA out here, so he got fired from the Jets, went to UCLA.
For that, or?
No, it's for something else.
Okay.
He got fired, went to UCLA. Diddy's son was playing there. And Diddy was working out there one summer, and I guess he said something he didn't like. I remember I was with my family, we was in Italy. He took a dumbbell and hit the strength conditioning coach with it. So I'm like, oh shit.
The guy did?
No, P. Diddy hit him with it.
What?
You didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah, he hit him with a dumbbell. And I remember I had thanked him. I was like, thank you. Because I never tried to get him back. I never tried to sue the Jets. I never tried to take any legal action.
Sleep.
No, because I wanted people to know, like, I got a pick. We won the game. I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about the team. Like
Again, I say this, boy, you sleep.
I know, bro.
Man.
But I thanked him for that. He ended up retweeting it and got some attention from it. But that was, that's how that whole thing went down.
Man, I mean, I'm telling you, that was on ESPN for a long time.
It did. ESPN's not top 10.
Right. And so you played 4 seasons with the Dolphins.
Yep.
And then you signed with Philly after that. What was that like, being a free agent and all of that? It was 4 seasons with Miami?
4 seasons with Miami. It was weird. I'm not gonna lie, going through that whole process. Because at first, you don't know what's gonna go on. You just hear a whole bunch of, oh, this team says this, they have interest, this team says that, because nobody can really contact you when the season ends in January till really March. My agent was just telling me, Houston's interested, Detroit's interested, Cleveland's interested, Buffalo's interested. I'm like, okay, well, here we go, whatever happens, happens. And I remember he flew me up to Buffalo and there was a snowstorm coming. And I remember looking out my hotel window, seeing the snowstorm, but seeing thunder and lightning. I'm like, I'm not playing here. There's no way in the world I'm playing here because I'm not getting stuck in this at all.
Right.
So then he gives me a call. He says, "Hey, do you want to sign here?" I'm like, "Nope. Like, we got to go somewhere else."
Luckily, you had options.
I had options. So he said, "Well, I'll get you a flight to Cleveland because they want you to come out there for your physical." I said, "Well, I guess I'm going to Cleveland then." And then right when he got my ticket, he said the Eagles called.
Right.
So I had to decide between Philly or Cleveland. I said, I'd much rather go to Philly. And mind you, I never thought I would go to Philly at all. And Maryland was right there, and I never even visited Philly, so I just never knew how the city was.
Right.
But my son, he was living up there, so I had to think logistically and think I wanted to spend time with him. I would like him to come to games, training camps, all those things.
So he had a role with you going to Philly?
Big time.
Gotcha.
So I picked Philly, and honestly, it's probably the best decision, man. I really feel like that city is, they're passionate about their players. Even if you play there and then you leave, those people still check up on you. The only thing they care about is you just playing hard and winning games. They love hard work. It's a blue-collar city. That's all they care about is if you can show up week in and week out and put your best foot forward. They'll hate it if you lose, but they'll appreciate you if you're working hard and you care about the team. And that's really what I try to do.
Right. You mentioned your son. I was going to talk about this later, but you mentioned your son. What you sipping on there? YOLO?
Lemonade, man. But if you want to. Too many bottles, man. Go ahead. Let me get one of those.
What you want the
free advertisement, bro?
What you want the
YOLO. YOLORum.com.
Let's talk about YOLO, bro. That's one of your ventures post football.
Yes, sir. See, a lot of people don't know I own it.
Right.
A lot of people think I'm an ambassador, which is fine. I'm cool with that, but I own it. And when I retired, when I got released from Dallas in 2017, I was looking on crowdfunding pages because I wanted to invest in something, but I didn't necessarily want to put in the work just yet. I wanted to make my money. And I went on the crowdfunding site and I saw this company, YOLO Rum, and I started reading about it. I started reading some of the things that they were involved in. They were in the Google Accelerator program and still are. And basically what that means is Google gives you the blueprint on how to do advertising.
Right.
And the other company that was previous to that was Tito's Vodka. And you see how much they're worth now. And that was because they went through that program. And we're the second alcohol program to go through it out of the 300 other companies that they picked.
Right.
So it was one of the things that intrigued me. And on top of that, it was gluten-free and sugar-free. I was like, well, shoot, can't go wrong in that. Yeah, I'm somebody that works out. If I'm gonna drink, I don't want to drink to get hammered or drink to affect my body. I want to drink and know that it's at least somewhat healthy, even though alcohol is not really healthy for you. But at least if you're gonna drink, at least drink healthy.
Right.
So for me, I invested. At first, it was like $200, like initially, just to get in and say, I own the company. But the main thing I want to do is get them to sponsor my golf tournament the following year.
Right.
So I was talking to him, no response. And then a year later, at the golf tournament pass and everything, they sent me an email, Phil, who you met, and sent me a letter apologizing because since they were in this Google program, they didn't have time to answer emails because Google was basically put them in a crash course of how to do marketing, advertising.
Too busy.
Real busy. And when they kind of brought me in and explained that to me, I was like, I respect it, but I still want to do something with the company since I finished playing, at least let me use my likeness, some type of credibility to help uplift the brand. But as we started to build a relationship over time, man, it grew to something more. Like feels like one of my homeboys, man. Even though he doesn't play football, it feels like every time we talk, it feels like he's in the locker room with me. And you know, when you build that relationship with somebody, it makes what you do even better. And for me, just being involved and knowing the origins of where it's come from and what he wants to do with the brand and what we want to do as a team, I mean, everything's behind it. The branding, the name, we own the name, we own the slogan. Like that's what people don't realize. Everybody thinks.
Phil Doodle, I met in LA.
LA,
Gotcha.
Yeah. Everybody thinks that Drake's the one that created this, but he didn't.
Right.
And
He just made it popular.
We just made it real popular, which helps us. It's still popular. People don't understand that. It's more popular outside the United States than it is the United States because when that whole word was out there, people were doing dumb stuff.
Right,
They were running the street on the highway saying YOLO and dying, trying to wrestle an anaconda.
Alligators,
YOLO, so they had to stop it. But it's still one of the most used acronyms outside the United States.
Right.
So, and this is stuff from Google. This is the information they're telling us. They're getting from them and they're giving it to me. And I'm like, there's something here with this, guys. So let's try and rebrand this thing and make it right. And let's compete against the people we have a shot with. And that's, Bacardi, that's Captain Morgan. These are the bigger brands that in the rum space, it's not as popular because everybody's so used to the persona of Ciroc and seeing the parties and, Patron and seeing the parties and taking shots. And we're going to get to that point. And it's just from us and the marketing standpoint and the fact that we do have Google kind of backing us, it sweetens the deal a little bit. But, I decided to really take more of a bigger role and really invest more into the company and shoot, my mom even, she got involved too, and now she's actually...
I know she be sipping that YOLO?
Oh yeah, she made rum cake. She made rum cake the other day. But now she's the CEO of YOLO Rum, and her being involved just with her connects and what she does, my mom.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah, definitely. So it's just been about, really it's just about loving it, loving what you do, and I really do because, one, I'm Trinidadian, I'm Bahamian also, so it's a Caribbean drink. Rum is Caribbean. So to be able to have something like that and build something, not one for me that I can look back on and say, oh, this guy did this post-football, it's also for my son. It's a legacy thing. It's something that when he gets older, he's going to own a piece of it. Like he's going to be able to, however it comes or however he wants to be affiliated with it, whether it's just money-wise or being day-to-day operations or just sit back and just reap the benefits. It's something I did for him.
Right.
So that's how I kind of look at it.
So you mentioned your son. Let's go back. Let's take a few steps back. That's part of the reason why you went to Philly, because your son is there, and it's something that we have in common is that we're co-parenting out of state.
Yeah.
What are some of the pros and cons to that, like for you?
I'll say the pros definitely is you don't have them every single day, so they're not, driving you crazy.
I gotta commend my child for that. I don't know if I can handle him every day.
Man.
She has Aiden every day, all day long. It seems like her life is centered around her. I always say,
it is. You got no choice.
Thank you, because if he was with me every day, he wouldn't be as advanced as he is.
No, I know my son would.
So that's definitely a pro.
That's definitely all the way pro. And I think another thing as a pro is, like you said, your life isn't always centered around it. You're able to freely do certain things that you want to do. If you want to go on vacation, you don't have to worry about, do I have to take the kid with me? Do I have to find a babysitter? If you want to go out on a night on the town, and you want to go out to eat at a nice restaurant, you can just up and go.
Right.
If you have a kid, you can't really do those same things. The cons is just the fact that you're farther away, you miss moments. It seems like time just passes you by faster and faster.
Right.
My son was just here And man, he comes up to my chest. I'm 6'1", and he's only 6 years old, and he comes up to my chest already. So it's like,
when did you get so big, bro?
it's like crazy.
Like, slow down, jit.
Exactly, and it's like, man, when you do have them, you want to cram in so much at one time, just so you can make up for it, and it's just hard to do because when they're gone, it's like, man, I wish I would have did this, or I wish I would have did that, and that's the part where it definitely is a negative.
Like, I almost feel like I'm spoiling Aiden to a degree because
You are.
when we're with each other,
You are.
all we're doing is fun stuff.
That's
you know,
it.
all ain't man, school.
No, we're not doing
Man,
school.
please,
We're not
flashcards, man.
We're
We
not
go,
doing that.
man, Chuck E. Cheese. You know what I'm saying?
Universal.
Right.
We're going there. We're going to the beach. We're doing something fun every day at least.
Right, exactly. But I can't say it's the easiest thing, you know,
Yeah.
as far as, you know, co-parenting, because there's a lot, there's things that we just don't agree on,
Yeah.
you know? But ultimately, she has the final say-so,
Yeah.
you know, because she's with him, you know, all the time. And that is like one of the toughest things for me too, bro.
That's when it sucks.
You know, it's tough, but I know ultimately she has the best interest for him. We both do.
Yeah.
You know, but just me being who I am, that's just a tough thing to have to deal with.
As long as she's not abusing her right as a mother to you
Mm-hmm.
and holding it as leverage, then yes, it's good. You know, the fact that she's around, she's helping him advance. She's always teaching him. She's making him respectable. That's good initially because he can have that foundation. But it's going to come a point in time where he does
gonna
get
need his
older.
daddy.
Yeah, exactly. And she's going to have to realize that, just like Nolan's mom. She does realize it. That's why she is appreciative, and I'm very appreciative of her as well for being in his life and always constantly making sure he's on top of everything. He's a smart kid, you know, and being in the first grade, you feel like he's in the third grade just by what he's able to accomplish right now.
Right,
So
and what he knows.
for her, it's definitely a full-time job, and that's why they say, you know, moms have it the hardest, but they know what they're doing. So when the time is right, when I'm able to have him, I'll have him full-time, and by that time, he'll be wanting to be with me, and I've always wanted to be with him, but when everything's right and when everything aligns, that's when it's going to happen at the right time.
Right. And I will say, you know, if I haven't said it, Amanda is the best mom ever. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to get that misconstrued.
Yeah, no,
you know,
not bad at all.
She's the dopest mom, and she does understand how, you know, Aiden does need his dad. It's just, you know, it's just tough.
Yeah.
Since we're on moms, if anybody got a super mom, bro, you got a super mom, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I remember us joking one time and we were saying, you're not even the most famous person in your family, bro.
'Cause I'm not.
You know, people don't know that, dog. So let's talk about Mama Carroll a little bit. She
right.
got some credentials, bro.
Boy, got
So
some
what
big
is it?
credentials.
She's the first black female elected lieutenant governor
Yeah.
of the state. She is the first African American elected in the legislation. And all the other, you could rattle them off. I can't even rattle them all off.
She's done so many things for just this state of Florida, and she doesn't get enough accolades, and she needs to, and I'm trying to get her to. But my mom's so humble. She's really wanted to help people,
Right.
and that's how she's been. Even when she was in the military, she was in the military for 20 years,
Right.
and she started as an aviation mechanic, and that's the lowest
That's
low
the-
you can go.
That's what I was.
Yeah.
Shoot.
And she ended up retiring as lieutenant commander.
Right.
And you know, if anybody knows, that's top of the top almost.
Right.
And for a woman,
A black
a
woman
black woman
who's not American,
at all.
you know?
She enlisted. She didn't even know she didn't have the right paperwork to even enlist
Right.
because she didn't get it done when she came here when she was 8.
Uh-huh.
But being in the 70s, she enlisted. You know, so that came with a bunch. You know, racism, sexism, all those things she had to fight against. And
Right.
for her to reach the top of what she's reached and continues to reach, I know people don't like it now, but she works for the president, and
Right.
he hired him. He hired her based off of her reputation,
Right.
and you know, the fact that speaks volumes right there.
Uh-huh.
You can hate the guy, I don't care what it is. If the president's calling you
And when the president call you, you know,
and addresses you as lieutenant commander on the phone, it's like All right, yeah, you got some respect for me. Right
Hey,
there all
you
the
done
time.
you done talked to Trump on the phone, bro?
I have, my brother has.
For real?
Yeah, my brother has. But I will say this though. I have, and I got the picture. I have grabbed Laura Bush's butt. I'm being for real. I have a picture. Christmas party.
Right. On purpose or accident? Well, regardless.
Regardless,
Right.
it happened, and I did it. But I've met some presidents before, and I met a bunch of people. I've met billionaires. I've met famous people. I've met presidents, senators, all of them, and they address my mom like she is a president. Like it's just the way she walks, the way she handles herself. She's not impressed by fancy things or fancy titles. She just wants to make sure she's doing her best work and she's making sure that she's helping people. So that's the way we kind of conducted our lives. But my mom she's second to none as far as people in this world that are just, honestly, she's the shit.
Now, how, like, being raised by a woman like her, you know what I'm saying, how has that affected your life, positively and negatively? Because I know sometimes it can be hard.
Yeah.
Oh, sometimes I'm like, God damn, mama, I don't know about it if I can move like that, man.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I call her mama.
Yeah, you do. I think negatively, it's the fact that
Or we should say, what's been hard?
the hardest, not negative, the hardest has been keeping up with her. Because she went from one thing to the next so fast that it's like when you look back at it, she has just all these accomplishments. And just being in the house, I see trophy after trophy after trophy. It's just like, man,
right?
Do you not realize what she's done? But I think she has. And the same thing was like that for me. Playing football, all I worried about was just going to college. Like I just made sure I wanted to get a scholarship. I didn't even care about how many offers I got. I don't care about, the attention of it. I didn't care if I was a 5-star guy. I just wanted to go to college. But I did some work when I was in high school. And I didn't even realize it until I was in college. And when I was in college, I didn't realize the work I did until I was in the NFL. And then when I was in the NFL, I didn't realize the work that I had put in until I retired. And it's just like, man, if I had appreciated that more,
right,
my outlook on certain things when I was going through would have probably been differently as far as how I could handle things. Because I was always, I need to do the next thing, because if I don't, I'll fall behind. And that, I think, is the negative, but it's also positive because it kept me wanting to do more. It kept me wanting to strive better. It wanted me to achieve greatness because of what she was doing all the time. I got drafted. The first thing people kind of said was the son of Lieutenant Governor Jennifer Carroll. And I was always like, man, well, I had to get out of that title. I just got to be Nolan Carroll. And, for me, I was just always working to have that title removed so people would just address me as Nolan Carroll.
Right.
I think it ended up helping me because I only strive for the top. I'm always looking to better myself. I'm always looking to push the limits. So it definitely helped me in that way.
Well, one thing that you did in the league that a lot of people don't know also, bro, because right now the my calls, my cleats thing is a real big deal.
Yep.
All the kids like custom cleats.
Oh yeah.
You probably had the first pair of custom cleats in the league.
I did. There's no doubt about it, I did. And I got the idea. This is how it happened. Because we always play the Texans when I was down in Miami. We play them almost every year, I think, except the last year I was there. And I was always on Andre Johnson. Somehow, somewhere, I always end up on him. But I would always look down at his shoes. I'm like, man, what are those? I didn't know about J's like that. I didn't buy my first pair of J's until my rookie year. So I didn't know about Jordans like that. But he had the Jordan 11s, Jordan 12s, the 4s. I'm like, man.
Because he was a Jordan athlete.
He was a Jordan guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, he got some nice cleats. Where can you get them? So I'm trying to search online, can't find them. The next year rolled around, I'm looking, he got a whole new pair. It's like, damn, this colorway is nice. So I looked, he's sponsored by Jordan. Then it showed all the guys that were sponsored by Jordan. I'm looking, man, how can I get them? The guys were like, no, it's impossible. Jordan got a hand selection. So
right.
Dang, ain't no way Jordan gonna sponsor me. So and he don't even know who I am. So that's out the window. I already, guys were telling me they write to Jordan and wouldn't even hear a response. He's like, no, I'm not giving it to you.
Right.
And so, I don't know, one day I was looking and I started getting in the shoes a little bit more and I started seeing custom guys. And one of these guys Marcus reached out to me in DM. He's like, man, I do custom Jordans. Let me do one for free. I was like, shoot, all right. I just got my first couple pairs of J's. Go ahead, I'll give you one pair.
I remember the shoes too, bro.
Yeah, the Statue of Liberty.
Bro, them joints are so ugly, dog.
He even admitted to it.
Golly, but I couldn't tell you, bro.
You should have.
Them shoes are so damn ugly,
it's all
dog.
good, bro.
Golly.
But it sparked in my mind. I was like, well, if he can do this with shoes, maybe he can do it with cleats.
Uh-huh.
So I gave him one pair of, and actually Jordan cleats. I got my hands on them. This is the first year Jordan had let his cleats come out on East Bay. So I bought a couple pairs, gave it to him. I said, man, just do whatever you need to do. Make them Dolphin colors and we go from there.
Right.
So the first preseason game that he gave them to me was against Houston. And I remember I'm lined up against Andre. He look at me, look at my shoes. He take a double take and look back at my shoes. I was like, oh, how you got the hookup on this? What happened? What are these? Are you a Jordan dude? In my mind, I'm like, no, I'm just trying to cover you, that's all.
Right.
But other guys started asking, yo, where'd you get your shoes, man? You sponsored by Jordan? I'm like, nah, my homeboy. He did it for me. And all these rave reviews, I sent him 12 pairs of other cleats that I had in my locker. I said, make me all cleats for the whole season.
Right.
So he's like, man, all right, cool, I'll do it. And then since then, the rest was history. And then when I went to, the NFL didn't catch on yet because the colors, it was either orange or aqua, so it blended in. And they were Nike shoes. At the time, Nike was starting to get into that ID stuff.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So when I got to Philly was generic. It was either black or nothing else. Like that's how Andy Reid liked it. They didn't want anything else besides black cleats. I was like, man, I got to put some flavor on it because I can't just have black cleats.
Right.
I came from a place where I was going crazy with it.
Right.
So I asked
I was just going crazy. Now you want me to do
I
this?
was like,
Ain't
no way,
nothing.
no way. So I sent them like 15 pairs. I said, do all my cleats for the whole season. I don't care if I get fined, nothing, don't worry about it. Next thing you know, the NFL is starting to fine me, like $5,000 a week.
A week.
I'm like, you can't fine me because they're team colors, so you have to take that back. So eventually I ended up taking it back. But then they came out with this letter. And on this letter, Deshaun Jackson was getting his shoes done. He was with the Redskins too. And on this letter, they had 5 pictures. And out of the 5 pictures, 4 of them were my cleats. They said that you can't wear custom nothing. You have to wear generic team issue cleats. I said, this is absurd.
Right.
But I'm still gonna wear my cleats. Y'all can't tell me to do that because there's nowhere in the rule book that it says that. So then finally, I think it was 2016, because by this time, Marshawn Lynch got his cleats done by Marcus, and he did the gold ones.
The gold bottom
Yeah,
joints?
he did those.
Got you.
And they said he couldn't wear them for the Super Bowl, I guess. And then after that, I think it was Drew Brees, and he did one pair of Odell's, he did Dez's, but since the bigger name guys started wearing it, that's when the NFL was like, okay, yeah, we can let it slide. Because I wasn't a big name guy, they were like, yeah, you can't do it. But if Drew Brees is doing it, it's okay to do it.
So you're responsible for all these custom cleats?
Yes.
So they need to be paying you some type of homage or something,
They're not gonna do that, man.
Goodness. So you go cleat crazy, you put Buddy on the map. He worked with Odell?
He did once.
Yeah.
And then Odell went to some other guy, I don't know who it is. But then he covers, I think he does like 7, 8 teams.
He does, I know he does UM.
Now, he did the UM thing as like a clash between Mosh and somebody else. Mosh did Nebraska. And he did all of U of M because he went there, and he did all their cleats. He did coaches, but then after that, he does the Raiders. He does the whole Browns. It got so crazy, the teams were reaching out to him to have him ship. They would ship the cleats to his house, and he would do all their cleats and send it back. So guys would show him what they wanted, what their foundations were, what their causes were, and then he would just do it. And he was doing right. I think he's up to like 1,000. Right now.
You still got a relationship with him?
Oh, hell yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah. That's what's up.
So that's how that started, man.
That's
now
what's
it's a
up.
whole, you see how it is now.
Right, it's crazy. Everybody can get custom cleats for anybody.
Exactly. But he was the first one that really, he started that, honestly.
Right. In Dallas, dog. I don't got a lot of friends. Like, I've been blessed enough and fortunate enough. I got a lot of buddies that play ball, and who are of the celebrity stature. Not many that I have that played for America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. And you have probably the most epic picture, or little Nolan, I should say,
Yeah.
has the most epic picture of watching you on that big old screen, and he has he has your jersey on, but you are on the screen.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the dopest pictures, like known to mankind.
Yeah. Like that. My mom took that picture, and when she sent it to me, before that picture, the picture that I value the most was when he came to his first camp when I was in Philly, and I was putting the helmet on his head.
Right.
I was like, "Oh, this is the best picture I ever had of my son." But when I had that one,
That
I was just
picture.
like,
That's gonna be hard to beat.
there's no, because if he looks back 15 years from now, or if he even decides to play football, and they're gonna bring that picture up, somebody, whether it's a reporter, my mom, even me, somebody's gonna bring that picture up,
Right.
and they're gonna talk about that picture because of, like you said, the significance.
Oh man, it's such a great picture.
If you ever get a chance to go to that stadium, that jumbotron is probably the same size as this shop. Like, no lie, the length of it is the size of the shop, and when you actually see it, and the fact that my son was able to see his dad, and he still don't understand, you know, the whole mechanics of what I had to do to get in the NFL and all that stuff. But I know when years go by and when he's able to look back at the picture, he's going to see my dad had to go through a lot to get to that point.
Right.
And for me to see him there, I appreciate what he did for me to see that. It's
Right.
just so crazy how everything kind of comes full circle, because now he's getting into football. Now he's starting to understand the rules of football, and now I'm starting to teach him. I never wanted to teach my son football because of all the stuff that I had to go through. I wouldn't want my own kid to go through it, but I'm like, look, if you decide to do it, I'm going to support you. And it's going to be crazy just looking back at that one picture. It's going to be real significant in his life when he finally realizes what football is about and what you need to do and the place that you can go with it. So it's definitely a significant picture.
So let's talk about Dallas a little bit. Like, what happened in Dallas? Like, how did it end, bro? You know, we did a lot of partying in Miami.
Yeah.
A lot. You know, and I'm not even, like, I got to apologize to you right now. I'm not a good friend because I don't think I came to not one Miami game, Dolphins game. No, I did when y'all played here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, you did.
But, you know what I'm saying? But I definitely made my way to Miami to come party with you.
But no, remember this. You was stationed, so you had to work, but you still hung out with me, which is still cool.
Yeah, during the week and all of that.
When I was in Philly, you was in school.
Right.
You was doing stuff in Virginia.
Right.
So you couldn't, it was no way
I
you could get out.
appreciate you for, you know what I'm saying, understanding.
I know these things, bro. And then when I was in Dallas, it was short-lived, bro. I wasn't there long.
So why was it short-lived? Like, what happened, bro?
I never talked about this before, but what they wanted me to do didn't line up to what was actually going on. Like, the whole premise of me coming there was my experience. And I knew they was going to draft 3 other guys, young guys. They wanted me to help them out. And, you know, they were telling me, we want you to play safety because we drafted 3 corners. I'm like, look, if you draft 3 corners, you still have your 2 you have 2 of your 3 starters from the year before. Plug one of those guys in, put me in the back, and let me just regulate stuff. And it didn't work out like that. It's unfortunate. And for me, we were kind of butting heads a little bit because I was accustomed to certain things when I was in Philly. I was accustomed to making sure everybody knew what they were supposed to do. I was accustomed to coaches basically being a step ahead of us and preparing us a certain way. I wasn't used to the college mindset. I wasn't used to, let's always bang, bang, bang. Let's always just do enough. And then the offense, we had a great offense. You know, Zeke, Dak, Dez. That's all they cared about was we just have to do enough to make sure we don't screw up and get the ball back in the offense's hands. I didn't like that mindset. A lot of other guys didn't like that mindset. And the fact that we didn't get into the disguising, we didn't get into making sure that everybody was on the same page, that was what kind of spiraled down. It was an off year too.
Right.
Because Zeke was doing this, he had the suspension stuff. He'd be in for a game, he'd be out for a game, he'd be on for a game, he'd be out for a game. We had young guys. I mean, Dak was coming into his second year, so all this pressure was on him now to perform the same way he did last year. So for us, it was just a bunch of off stuff that was going on that year, and it was hard to keep the outside noise out. And it's America's team, so everybody's looking at you. And I wasn't used to that part of it all the time, having cameras, having media, having people always talking about you and dissecting every little thing about you. And then when I got hurt, I got my concussion. I got 2 concussions when we played Denver.
Right.
They tried to rush me back in like the next week. They actually cleared me before I was cleared to come back out. And I told them I'm not coming back out because I'm not going to get another concussion. It's bad enough. I probably got 3 in that game, honestly, tell you the truth.
In one game?
In one game. I was not going to put myself back out there. So we got cleared before the St. Louis game, and then I didn't play. I said, I'm not playing. Then the next game was Green Bay. I still wasn't feeling good. I said, I'm not playing. So then the scouting department or the people, GM, they were all getting mad because they thought I was supposed to play, that week when we played Green Bay. We ended up losing. And I'm thinking everything's cool. I'm thinking, well, I guess I must be important enough to be on the team and we can start doing the things you guys promised me as far as like, look, these young guys that you're putting out here don't have the experience yet. You need somebody that has experience to be able to guide them because the season's kind of starting to spiral out. But obviously coaching staff didn't see it the same way, so they ended up releasing me. It was Garrett's decision. And honestly, I got respect for him.
Right.
The way it went down, I'm not jabbing nobody. I'm not doing anything like that. But I respect him as a coach, and not everybody does because it's hard to manage America's team. Every single year,
my God.
Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl.
Jerry Jones. How is it playing for Jerry Jones, bro? What kind of relationship you had with Jerry?
Oh, I was cool with Jerry.
Yeah?
I see it this way. Each team taught me something different. When I was in Miami, it was eliminating distractions and not and worrying about your job first.
Absolutely.
Not doing the temptation stuff, the nightlife. When I got to Philly, it was just working hard and just tuning out all the noise because Philly fans, they don't care. And you have to have tough skin to even play in that city because if not, you're
Get out. Get out.
When I got to Dallas, it was the year he was getting inducted in the Hall of Fame. So that year, I saw what he had to do to acquire the team and then what he had to do to build the team up. He bought the team for $160 million. He almost went broke with buying the team. He spent everything he had to buy this team.
He spent $160 million, bro.
At the time.
Bro, that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. But
I ain't trying to hear nothing about he almost went broke.
He
almost went broke buying something for $160 million.
But how much is that team worth now?
Right. It's the most expensive team.
$5 billion.
Yes, it's the highest, or it's the most expensive team in the world.
The most expensive team in the franchise. But that's from him. That has all the players that came through that team.
Right.
But you always know Jerry Jones. And he's going to always make sure you know who it is that built that whole thing up. He basically built Texas. I don't care what nobody say. When you go to Dallas, you see that big old spaceship that's just plotted in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Then you go 30, 40 minutes up north, Plano and Frisco. He built 2 cities that people said he was crazy to do. He bought 100, 200 acres or something like that, way away from Arlington. People said he was crazy for doing that. Now he got the Omni Hotel, he's got a medical center, he's got the practice facility that costs just as much as a stadium.
Really? Over there in
Plano and Frisco.
Yeah.
He's got the professional soccer team moved up around there. He lets the high schools use the practice facility when they want to play games. First of all, the practice facility sit 30,000 people inside. He got a 5-star restaurant up at the top. He got Target that got an office from him renting out in a building. So
there's a Target in there?
There's the Target, the corporation. When he moved to Plano and Frisco, those other corporations, Frito-Lay's, Target, Toyota, they all moved up there because they know that's where the money is. And he saw that before anybody else did. He bought the land in 2008. If you were to go there now, you'd be like, there's no way. Because it was barren. There was nothing there. But when they started talking about his accomplishments, they started talking about the things he went through to get the team where it was, I was like, man, this is a true businessman. That's how I want to be. I want to do that same thing. And that's what I learned from him. And the fact that I was even able to be around his facility and even talk to him and get to converse with him a little bit. I mean, shoot, he used to fly in every practice on his helicopter. He used to land his helicopter on the practice field.
Right.
And you knew it was Jerry.
Of course. Who else is going to be?
You're not going to say nothing. You'd be like, why is he doing that? We used to stop practice just in case, just so we knew where the helicopter was going to land.
Right.
Because one time he landed when Dak was snapping the ball. He's landed. We're like, well, we got to stop. We got to wait till he land. We get out, say his, hey, what up, everybody, and then shoot. He just go by.
How was Jerry? Was he dapping everybody up?
Yeah, Jerry was cool.
Yeah.
People get the wrong persona of Jerry. Jerry cares about players. He wants players to have certain benefits because he knows how hard the game is, and he sees things differently. He sees things from a business aspect. He wants players to have certain benefits that, honestly, the NFL is not trying to give up. And Jerry's kind of the outlier. Him and I think Shah Khan are the two guys that I really think are the ones that see outside of the box, but not all the other owners see that. They see only money, 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 money. How can we get money? But Jerry sees it from, how can I help my players after football? You see Dez in the skybox with him. He cut him. He's still hanging out with him.
Right.
Michael Irvin's his adopted son now. Like,
Basically.
So it's, you see that. You don't see other owners doing that with their other players. And that lets you know the type of person he is, even though he does certain things, obviously. But you can't look at just that one thing and judge him off of that. You have to look at the totality of his work. And I think what he's done.
He got a body of work.
That's what I'm saying. It speaks for itself.
Let's talk about your foundation, bro. The Nolan Carroll Foundation, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And your love for STEM.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that? When did all that come about?
Well, when people want people to understand with STEM, it's not just all scientific stuff. It's not nerdy. It's
science,
technology, engineering, and math.
Okay.
But what that does, it creates the stimulation to create. It creates a stimulation to think outside the box. And for me, I never liked school. I never liked things in school. I always felt it was boring, but I always felt like I learned stuff outside the classroom. I always felt like I was able to create things. I was big into Legos. I love building Legos because I felt like I can take this box full of just bricks and I can build up. I can build characters. I can build buildings. And for me, that prompted me to start thinking more about what I can do to change my life, not just from engineering or building different things, but how I can change my life and how I can make a difference in other people's lives. And my mom started guiding me in this direction because she was in politics, and the reason why she got into politics was because she wanted to create a change. And that's what STEM is about. It's creating something out of nothing, finding a problem and then fixing it with your own solution. Mm-hmm. So when I talk about STEM, I really want these young kids to understand that they have the capacity, they have the ability to create their own thing, whether it's they're into coding, or if they find a way to build a new bridge that can, I don't know, connect one city to the next. Or,
right.
For instance, connecting roads, whatever it might be, you're challenging their minds to think outside the box, because so much of today is now you're only supposed to think this way. And kids get into that mode, and when they have to think for themselves, when there's nobody to hold their hand, they don't know what to do. They end up falling back into the crowd. Well, this person do it because it's cool, let me do it. I want to get away from them because I've never been the person to go with the crowd. I never cared what people thought about me or what I was doing.
That's true.
I just like, look, this is me. If you like it, like. If you don't, I don't care. Like, I just really thought that way, and I want them to think the same way, because I know that every kid has the potential in them to do something great. It's just they let the circumstances too much dictate that, and they start making that an excuse, and they start falling back, and they end up getting into crime, getting into drugs. And when you look back, it's just like, well, the next person that's coming behind them, they follow suit. And I want to stop that. I want to break that cycle. They always say that there's somebody in a generation that, whether they make a good decision or a bad decision, affects the next 4 generations. Mm-hmm. So if you can break that cycle, shoot, that next person that comes in line with you, they can break that cycle again and start a whole new line or trend of strong generation. So that's what STEM is about. And for me, the Nolan Carroll Foundation is really giving back to the underprivileged youth. And I really feel like so many kids have a disadvantage in life just from everything you see is going on in the world, and they feel like they're stuck, they can't do anything. And I'm just here to encourage them and let them know that you can do something. Don't let your outside factors dictate what's going on in here, because what's going on in here can really help you and propel you to wherever you want to go.
Right.
You see it time and time again. Somebody that always says they grew up in one household, they grew up with their grandparents, they grew up around drugs, but they still somehow make it. That's all because of their mindset, because they said they got tired of doing this. They want to change, or they want to change for their families, and they make it happen. That's what it's about. It's about you deciding that you want to make it happen and going from there. So that's what STEM is really the catalyst for, in creating that change.
And then last thing I kind of want to touch on is, conversations with Carroll, man. How did that come about? Because some people know, some people don't. We had our own little podcast thing.
We still need to do
on.
that. That's still
a whole lot of nothing.
We still got to do it. We started that, and I was like, man, this is what we got to do. And I always feel like I wanted a podcast, but.
And this was before all COVID and everything.
2019,
yeah.
2019, I'm like, man, we got to get it going. But I was so scared to do my own show because I didn't know how to I didn't know where to start, honestly.
Right.
Then when we started doing it, we did what, three?
Yeah,
Four?
I flew
Something
down like
that.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah, we did like 3 or 4, but it was like how it was set up wasn't how
It just
I
wasn't
wanted.
right.
It wasn't right yet.
Now you got conversations with Carroll,
Now
and
I
that
got
thing
that.
is killing.
It is, and it all goes back to STEM. It all goes back to the mindset of creating something out of nothing, creating your own advantage. And the people that I have on, you've seen, I've only had 2 football guys on there. All my other guests have been regular people.
Right.
That live ordinary everyday lives, but have found a way to create something that is giving back, that's creating, that's something beyond them. And that's what I want to get into. I want to show that there are people out there that no matter what, regardless of the situation, they found a way to make it work. They found a way to find their own niche, or they went from one career, they didn't like it, they went to another. Similar to when I was playing football. I was forced to go from one career to the next. And for me, just during the pandemic, everybody was so frantic. Either they got laid off, they furloughed, they don't know what their next job is going to be, they don't have any money, and they just start panicking. They're just like, well, this is how it is going to be forever. The people that I have on the show are the ones that chose not to have that affect them. They're like, look, this is what I want to do. I'm going to do it. I'm going to build up whatever I need to build up, and it's going to get me to where I need to go because I have bigger visions. I have bigger dreams, just like what you said. You imagine your podcast being bigger and larger than life, not just with the podcast, but for the sock drop.
Yeah, nothing but anything is going to be bigger than that.
That's what I'm saying, but that's how you think. That's how you're supposed to think. You should never conform to small things. You should always think big. Because if you don't think big, you're never going to get big. And you're never going to work towards big. You're only going to be working towards bare minimum. So these people on the show have gone exceedingly above and beyond to get to what they need to get. And I think that the more as the show goes on, the more I start to get more braver as far as like opening up. Because I felt like at first, let me let other people talk.
Was your mom the first episode?
She was the first episode. She was the first one, and I was weird. Because I had never interviewed my mom. I had never.
Really?
No, never. I had talked to my mom, but
to
not interview her and talk about her life, then I started getting it going as far as like, oh man, I'm the one kind of creating
first
this.
episode, dog.
It is, but it showed me that, for one, I can do this because it's hard, like interviewing somebody.
Oh God! And tell me about it.
Yeah, it's exhausting. But as you go along, you start seeing that these people, their lives and what they do and what they have to go through, they're strong people. And that gives me more energy, that gives me more life to continue to do it because I know that there's somebody out there that is going to see one of these 10 episodes and they're going to be able to associate with one of those 10 people.
Right.
So I was in their shoes, or I've been through what they've been through. I was thinking like they were thinking. And here they are now and they're thriving. I want to get to that. I want to give people motivation and hope to do those things. You know, I will eventually, but I'm not into selling things. Like I'm not into selling products and all that. I did that before and I was like, yo, my purpose in life is bigger than just selling stuff. I'm going to sell anything. I'm going to sell you my experiences. I'm going to tell you about the things that I had to go through, and I'm going to show you other people that have gone through similar things that I went through. So that's what Conversation with Carroll is.
Oh, shoot, well, bro, like, last thing is like, what's next? What's next for Nolan, bro? You done did the modeling.
Still doing that.
You got your podcast. You did the investing. You did the like. What's next, bro? What's next?
What's next?
Like, what do you have your eyes set on that?
Well, the clothing line. It's gonna be. Honestly, I haven't figured out. I'm in between the name. I don't know if I want to keep it Nolan Carroll. I want to keep it something else, and I want to hold off on the name until we get it done. But the clothing brand is coming out this year.
Is it going to be like a dressy or
this
active
right
wear?
Here, activewear. All
Gotcha.
activewear. It's got the symbol. You know, the symbol is a lightning bolt. Basically, the spark.
I figured.
Okay, you know, but it's a spark. Honestly, a spark within yourself that you need to grow, that you need to achieve your goals, and with that, and then I have my book that's going to be coming out this year.
I was going to say, when the book coming out, man?
The book's coming out this year. I'll give you a copy before I give anybody. I don't want to put a certain date on it because I want to make sure.
You gotta let me voice that thing. If you don't voice that, you gotta let me voice that.
I'll let you voice it. You probably put some more emphasis in it. But I want to be able to give it out first, and I want to hear what people have to say about it before I actually start. Oh, I got a book. Right. And it took me a while to do this because when I retired, I really just started writing, just jotting down stuff here and there. And then through the pandemic, going back, it was like April. I was like, man, I wrote a lot. So I started going back, but it was all over the place. And I finally got it organized and then started writing. the way I needed to be.
Hell yeah, I'm excited about that.
It's good. It's called It's Up to You. And it really is. You know, the things that we go through in life is our choices, and I want to make sure that when
It's
you
an autobiography?
no, I stayed away from that.
Yeah?
I made it more a book about your purpose and answering your own questions as to what you want to be with your life. But I also pull from my football experiences.
Gotcha.
So it's not just all about me, but it's more about what I endured, how I thought, and how you can apply it. Like,
Right.
I think it's a lot of football guys think when they get out of the league, I have nothing to offer to somebody else as far as my experiences. And you see commentators, they talk about football all day, football, football, football. But when's the last time you heard somebody talk about football from an experience where it's relatable to somebody else that's never played football before?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I want the book to be. So when you see it, it's all about confidence, creation, capacity. You know, these are the things that you have in you. You just got to know how to bring it out.
Right.
And then next is a lot of people. Well, you know this. I'm a soccer guy, man.
Right.
So I want to do a lot of things with soccer here in Jacksonville. I also want to do. I'm starting to do more in Trinidad, as far as my foundation and sponsoring kids in Trinidad that play on certain club teams, and also get into helping the national team and gear up for that. The FIFA's in 2026, but that's what I'm aiming for. But right now, it's really about the brand, the book, the podcast is still something that's active, and all my other investments are, you know, those things are behind the scenes.
Right.
I got an app that's coming out too, and
Right.
you know, that's another one that's gonna surprise some people because I kept that so quiet for the last couple of years.
It's
And
hard.
It is hard because I want to say something, and now I'm going to say something. We have a Shark Tank exec that is one of our investors. He's my partner.
Hey, you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. So when people really see that, it's like, oh, you know, he was working on that for the last couple of years.
Right.
So it's just the way I've been moving lately has been just quiet. Like, I don't have to always go on Instagram and announce my moves. I'd much rather just post a picture of some
Moving
confidence
silent.
and then just go.
Yeah.
Because that takes the stress off of me, takes the pressure off of me.
Right.
I can do what I need to do. I don't have to put a time limit on things. I can just go about life how I want to and live it for me.
Well, bro, man, you definitely are an interesting person. I mean that in the most respectfulest,
I appreciate that.
the best way ever. You know, you're the second best looking guy in this conversation, but you definitely, you know what I'm saying, you definitely mean a lot to me. You've always supported me in anything I did. I've tried to support you in every way possible. You know, we've went out, you spent a lot of money on me. I try to cover the tips or whatever. But like, luckily, you know, we have that bond and that relationship, and I definitely is something that I cherish, bro.
Definitely, bro.
I appreciate you for everything, and definitely coming on
you.
to the show, bro.
Oh, I know
appreciate
you
you.
are.
Hell
Appreciate
yeah,
you, bro.
man.
For real, bro.
That's what's up, bro. Love you, man.
Love you too, bro.